Hi there, welcome back to LavenderPolish. Today we are going to be taking a look at the ILNP UltraChromes collection. So as many of you may know, a couple months ago in October, ILNP was the talk of the town when they released their Wicked collection, which contained this beautiful polish called Eclipse. Eclipse was a multichrome which started out as a nice gorgeous black and then dipped into reds and oranges and even yellows at the deepest end of the spectrum. And the internet went crazy for it, including me. It's absolutely beautiful. So capitalizing on that idea, ILNP has now released this new collection of UltraChromes, one of which is Eclipse with a holographic scatter throughout. And in this collection they also have two new colors, each of which has its own version with a holographic scatter. So basically we have two new colors, but we have 5 new formulas to take a look at, so let's jump right in. The first polish that we're going to be looking at is Stardust. Now, this was the first one that I tried, and as you can see, it starts out as this sort of muted gray color. It's maybe got a hint of green there. So as you can see here, it is a little bit thin on the first coat, but don't worry, these kinds of polishes by ILNP do build opacity quite quickly. So this polish in particular, it starts out as this nice smooth gray, but as you see in different lightings, it turns into a nice gorgeous teal color that burns into this gorgeous purple with a little bit of red in there at the very end. So after 2 coats, it was looking pretty good. Honestly, it looks very full opacity on the camera. It was still a little bit thin in real life, so I decided to put a 3rd coat on just to play it safe and make sure there was absolutely no visible nail line there to give you guys the best experience. However, I do think that you could absolutely get away with just 2 coats if you want to save your polish a little bit more. I'm also putting 1 coat of black on my ring finger just in case you want to save your polish and only use 1 coat of it, and I'll show you how it changes the color if it does at all. As you can see with this particular polish, the color is just about exactly the same. It's maybe a little bit deeper, but nothing that anyone's going to notice. But yes, as you can see, we've got a nice gray polish and ba-bam! Look at that blue. Can you even believe that that is the same polish? As you can see, we stretch into this gorgeous purple. We've got this sort of greeny, almost like olivey green, gunmetal green at the softest end, stretching into this gorgeous purple with a bit of hot pink red color at the very end. I just think it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, can you believe that this starts out as a gray or a silver? You'd have no idea, honestly. Now, of course, we're going to talk about its holographic counterpart. This is Stardust H at the end. Also, I just love how the ILNP is holographic on the bottom of the bottle. I think that's such a cute detail. Anyways, we're going to start out with the 1st coat. I'm very sorry that this shot is a little bit out of focus. Don't know what happened there. Don't worry about it. Anyways, I applied the 1st coat. As you can see, still a bit streaky, so I went in with the 2nd. Now, the formulas between the hollow versions and the regular multichromes are almost exactly the same. You really can't feel much of a difference to them. And just like with the last polish, I think I decided I wanted to put a 3rd coat on just because I felt like there was a tiny bit of nail line showing through. But again, that is just personal preference. We're going to speed this up a little bit because it's essentially just the same as the last polish. So I'll show you at the end. And of course, I've got my 1 coat over black in case anyone wants to see what that looks like. Again, I am so sorry that it is blurry. I will not do it again. Probably should just reshot these. But you know, it is finals week for me, so you get what you get. I'm sorry. I promise the swatches are in focus. Here's how the colors look all together. As you can see, there is no difference between the ones over black and the ones with 3 coats. And here is the beautiful, beautiful result. Here, I love this shot because you can see how it really extends from the like gunmetal gray all the way up to that purple within 1 nail. Just stunning. Here we have it right out in direct sunlight. It is a bright, bright teal, unrecognizable to what it was before. And of course, we have the hollow shining through. And again, just to show off the multichrome, we have this gorgeous shift. I actually love this polish a lot. I didn't really think I would because I just always seen it as this gunmetal gray in the bottle. But man, it looks beautiful. That color transformation is so intense. Our 2nd new color, we have Shockwave. Now this polish starts out as a bright, beautiful blue color. And also this is the first time that my nails are coming out on my left hand in a while because my pinky broke a while ago and it was way too short for me to cut down the rest of my nails, so I've been growing out. If anyone's been paying close attention to the last like several videos on my channel, have all been on my right hand. But anyway, here's the reveal of my short nails. I went for just 2 coats with this one because ILNP does seem to cater towards shorter nails, and with only 2 coats, it went on beautifully. You couldn't really see any nail line at all. As usual, here's 1 coat over black. It went on very nicely, very smoothly, and the color I didn't think changed very much at all. And here is the final result of the non-holographic version. You see, it starts out as this beautiful vibrant blue and extends into a purple with a little bit of a hot pink and almost a red at the end. Now you may be noticing that this is very, very similar to Stardust, just without the gray beginning, and honestly I would agree with you. While I love this color, I didn't love that the colors both seemed very similar. I didn't love how similar the shifts of both the polishes were. That was a tiny bit disappointing to me. Regardless, let's take a look at the holographic version of Shockwave, because no matter how similar the colors are, they are still beautiful. And this shot is out of focus as well. Again, you've already seen what this color looks like, so we'll just kind of speed through this to get to the final result. And of course, here is the one coat over black. Much like last time, it looks wonderful. They go over black very, very nicely without the color changing much at all. Here is a nice shot that shows the full extent of the shift. We start out at this gorgeous blue once again, transition into purple, and then you get this bright burning red at the very tip, and the light is directly on it. Outside, we can see how the holographic flakies sparkle. I think they look absolutely stunning, and the blue background as well just looks fantastic. Okay, but we are at the final point where we all want to be. Let's take a look at Eclipse. Oh, Eclipse, the holo version. Oh my goodness. Everybody loves her. Alright, first coat, just like the others, it does go on a little bit streaky, but as we know, they build up opacity quite quickly. So Eclipse does, of course, from here just look like any old regular black polish, but unlike the other two in this collection, even just from this angle, when there's not at full opacity and you don't have any fancy lights, you can already see it shifting to red at the edges of my nails, which I find so impressive. It's really hard for multichromes to shift when they're not supposed to be shifting, so I love that Eclipse can do that. I also really like how this looks with the holographic sparkles in there, because when it isn't shifting, it almost just looks like a little bit of a galaxy effect. You know, you get this nice black background with a little bit of a silver shimmer in there and this beautiful holographic stars. As usual, I went for 3 coats on my long nails because I could just see a little bit of a nail line pointing through. Again, I think that you would be fine with 2, I'm just being a little bit nitpicky. Here is 1 coat over black. As I'm sure you can guess, because it is a black multichrome, there's going to be no difference at all. As you can see, very, very similar, and as you can see, you already have this shift beginning. Oh my goodness. And here are the swatches. I do like all the colors in this collection, but I think that nothing can really beat how gorgeous Eclipse is. I love how well it shifts even just on one nail. You can get the whole spectrum from black to yellow just on one nail in one shot. I don't have to really move it around too much at all. I think that it's stunning. I don't know what else to say. I know I already talked about this color in the Wicked collection, so you can go and take a look at that if you want a more in-depth idea. But this color is to die for, in my opinion. Take a look at this. This was in my bedroom with my like blue LED lights on, and even still, even this like bad lighting for multichrome nails, you could still see the red shift. It was just so impressive to me. I absolutely loved it. I could not get enough of it. I really didn't want to take it off. Overall, I definitely enjoyed this collection. I don't have a ton of multichrome, so it was really fun to sort of add to my collection that way and get a couple more staples in there. But final thoughts, let's talk more about the in-depth versions of the collection. So this collection has 5 polishes in total, and it retails for $62.50, and each bottle is worth $12.50 on its own. So obviously $12.50 is a little bit more expensive than ILNP's usual bottles, which usually cost about $10 each. However, this obviously is a much more advanced formula than a lot of the stuff that they've done before. The fact that $12.50 is still pretty cheap for an indie brand, I have no problems at all. I did actually get them on Black Friday, so I think I spent $47 on them. So to me, that definitely made the price much more worth it, because it was what, $17, $18 off for me. So I might be a little bit biased in saying that the polishes are worth it. The only thing that I didn't love about it is the fact that I felt like Shockwave and Stardust were just very, very similar in color. The only real difference is that one started as a silver and then moved into blue, purple, and red, while the other one just started as blue and then went purple and red. For such a small collection with only 2 new colors being introduced, I would have liked to see a bit more variation in them. Maybe Shockwave could have still started as a blue, but maybe it would have transitioned into a green instead of a purple. That would have added a lot more variation to the collection, and I think would have made it a little bit more worth the money. That is just my opinion, of course, and individually I do love both colors. Stardust is probably my favorite just because I love the initial color and the way that you just don't expect it to change that drastically, and it does. But having them both together in a collection as the only new colors was a little bit of a downer for me. Hi, quick interjection from me in the future editing this video, because I realized that I forgot to say something that I've been meaning to talk about. So when I first got the Wicked collection back in October, I found out that I could not open the bottles when I first got them, and I ended up having to like use my teeth to turn the cap when I first got them open because they just would not open when I used my hands. And at first I was thinking like, okay, I don't know how to open bottles, I don't know, maybe it's just a fluke or whatever. But when I got this collection, I also could not open the bottles, and I've got the teeth marks to prove it on these bottles. I had to like gouge in there just to get it open. And look, like at first I was thinking, okay, you know, ILNP has this sort of like matte silky top to them, maybe my skin just doesn't vibe with that. But Holo Taco has a very similar thing, so does Urban Outfitters, and I can open both of those. So I don't know what it is about ILNP where I just can't open their bottles. And it's fine now, like now that I've broken the seal, I can open them easily. But like, is this just an issue that I'm having? Is this just a complete fluke and I just somehow ended up with a bunch of really tightly screwed on bottles? Or does that happen to other people? Does ILNP just do that? It's not necessarily like a complaint that I have, I'm just confused. I don't know why they're so hard for me to open. Look at that. Look how pretty those are. But look at that, man. Like, is it just me? Does that happen to anyone else? That's all I want to know, is just, am I alone in this? Hey, no. Alright, back to the stuff I recorded earlier. Now, do I think that these polishes lived up to Eclipse? Honestly, not really. I think that Eclipse had this real shock factor of being like such a dark color that goes bam, it's red and it's orange and it's yellow. It was like the most vibrant multichrome that I think a lot of people have seen, from at least from such a big brand. And these other colors, they were things that you could find before. I mean, I personally had not seen a black to red multichrome before. However, I have seen greens to blues to purples, and I've seen blues to purples to yellows. Shockwave and Stardust were not the most original things to me. I think that they were still very, very strong multichromes, but they just weren't quite as strong as Eclipse. The other thing about Eclipse is that it was a super, super strong shift. No matter what light I was sitting in, it was almost always shifting to red and even to yellow. I didn't have to do anything for it. I could just look down at my hand and see yellow. With Shockwave and Stardust, however, I did have to put a little bit more effort to get the right angles. I had to really, like, you know, move my hands around in the light to see the shift happening. And that's not a point against them, because that is just what most multichromes are like. Eclipse was just on another level, and unfortunately, I don't think that these quite reached that next level. However, I still really, really liked them, and they're not bad by any means. It's just that Eclipse is so up there that you just can't get to it. As far as recommendations go, I don't know if this is a collection that you need to buy all as one set. It's not really a whole theme, it's more of just some extra fun polishes. You don't really need to own both the regular and the holographic version of both polishes. I just kind of did it because it was Black Friday and I was tricking myself into thinking that I'm saving money by spending money. You know how it is. But if you want to get them, I think that the holo does add this extra oomph to it, something that I really like. And I think that's about all I have to say. I definitely just really enjoyed this collection. I thought it was fun. While I didn't quite live up to the Eclipse expectations, they still were beautiful. Let me know what you guys thought of this collection, if you think that the colors lived up to Eclipse. Are you planning on buying the collection or just getting a couple different bottles? Let me know, I'd love to hear, and I will see you later. Bye.